Salute, and welcome. Welcome back over to the Black Ocean, ladies and gentlemen. You're now swinging deep in with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you knew that was going to try sooner or later once we got to cooking like we did yesterday over here. Because, see, it was a false copyright claim because we were completely within the fair use laws and what have you. But we are going to get underway with part 2 of the discussion. And this is what I'm going to do for you ladies and gentlemen that are joining us over here tonight, because once again, we're going to start right where we left off with pointing out the fact, and again, salute to the good brother, Black Alpha Network, for pointing out the fact that you see Kyrie Irving up here, Ja Morant, and then the 3 Alabaster men down here, Dana White, Chad Wheeler, and Welfare King Brett Favre down here. Nobody's talking about them. Oh, no. See, I think that part hurt because y'all saw the direction we were going. But I'll tell you what we're going to do here tonight. I'm going to get a little bit of audience participation. I want you, brothers and sisters, to let me know, what do you want to do? Okay? Because I've got some things I want to bring to your attention here before we get underway. But let me know what you want to do. Do you want to continue right where we left off, or do you want to go back and analyze the entire thing dealing with Buck Dancing, Shannon Sharp, and Skipula, or Skip, and Shannon Collin from the start? Let me know if you want to continue there or go on and just continue where we left off, or go back over it all, because, see, it's up to y'all. I try to give my people what they want, and I'm going to let y'all let me know what you want to do in the chat room. Salute to everybody that I see coming in here. I got some good news for you too, ladies and gentlemen, while you, make up your mind in the chat room what you want to do. I'll look back over here in a minute shortly. Okay, good deal. I see good brother Tarian Rain saying start where we left off. Okay, cool. All right, that's one good vote in there. Welcome to you over here. Okay, let me, fact of business, let me greet a couple of you before I show you what I want to show you here. I see King Chan in the building. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. My good brother, CRU Reality, the computer and beat maker. Patricia Slade in here. Patricia Jenkins, the moderator on deck. Tasha Peters is with us tonight. Good brother Tarian Rain Reloaded. Only Pamela's Way is in here. GB King Harris, salute to everybody that's joining us. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it to y'all to call it, because there's a lot to cover, and I've even added some things. See, one thing about me, when the demons over here at PewTube start messing with me, I'm going to come back and double down on it. I'm going to make it even worse, because I've added a surprise in here for you tonight, and it's going to add a different dynamic to the discussion that we were holding yesterday. What I'm going to do after this broadcast is over tonight, and they're not going to really be able to mess with this one, not with the way I'm going to present it, but I will put this one and the other one together in one format, long form on Rumble, where you can see the entire thing without the interruptions, unedited. Okay. But before we get underway, I have some good news I want to bring to your attention here. A lot of y'all probably may not be aware, or then again, you may be aware, but you're about to see something very important here. Okay. Let me take my banner down. I want y'all to see all of this, because this is very, very important in my opinion. Family, what you're looking at on your screen, on the left-hand side, that you see, fact of business, let me slide this over so that you can see that separately. On the left-hand side, I'm about to put a link in here, and I'm going to put this in here periodically through the broadcast. Our good brother, Sincere Love to God, he has a children's book series called Seven, the Superhero. Okay, Superhero. Okay, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Let me put the link to that in the chat room. I'm going to put that in there twice. If you're a black parent and you title your children's books with all types of agendas in them, and we know what types of agendas they're putting on the children today, especially our children, that is a good book series to go and get. If you don't have kids, that's a good gift to give someone that does have kids. Again, the author of this is our good brother, Sincere Love to God, the creator of the magnificent Master's Table album. And that's some good music. If you into music without all the garbage in it, you need to get that album as well. The other book over here on the right-hand side, this is a good brother by the name of Josiah J. Starr. Now, I have 2 of his books myself. I have War of the Heart, and I have Nothing Shall Come Between Us by Josiah J. Starr. Excellent reads. I'm going to get this book on the right-hand side that is going to be available, I think, what is it, the 21st or 22nd, by Josiah J. Star. It's called God Love Us. It's the sequel to War of the Heart. I'm going to put this link in the chat room twice. Excellent Black author. Let me tell you something, man. We talk about Black excellence and talent. We have an abundance of that right here within these spaces. I would strongly recommend that you go and check out the book review that I just put to Josiah J. Star's God Love Us book in there. And I think it's something that you want to add to your collection, because let me tell you something. If you haven't read one of this brother's books, he draws you in with his work to the point where after you read the book, you're like, damn, this needs to be a movie. That's my opinion. But hey, that's just my opinion. Don't take my word for it. Go grab that brother's book if you're a book reader and check that out. Go check out both of these, okay? In fact, I'm going to put both links in here one more time. I'm going to put the link to my good brother, Sincere Love the Guy's book, 7 the Superhero, in there. Okay, check that out. I'm going to put this in here twice because I want y'all to have access to it. And I want you to check out Josiah J. Star's book review for God Love Us. I'm going to put that in there 2 times more as well. Okay, see, the thing about me, if I know you have a talent or you have something going on that's worthwhile for our people and it's for the empowerment of our people's minds, I'm going to put you out there. You might not even expect me to do it. Just know I'm watching everybody and everything. And hey, that's just something I like to do. I like to support like that, okay? Because see, we need anything that's healthy, that's fighting the agendas that they're pushing towards our people, all this poison they're trying to feed our minds. Because see, I'm going to tell you something. One of my great grandparents often said this, and y'all heard me say it many times. Just as you are what you eat, you are what you think, okay? So we have to protect our minds with empowering information and empowering food for thought, which is what we're going to get here. So now that I put you all up on that, I hope you'll all go check those out. I got to ask it again. What does everybody want to do over here? You want to continue where we left off? Or you want to go back through this whole thing here, like the beginning of the Shannon Sharp one? Because y'all already saw the part 1. And they cut us off in the middle of the Shannon Sharp analysis. I'll leave it up to y'all. I'm going to look. I'll get the chat room time to respond. I've seen a couple of people say, start where we left off. Some people say go back. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Give me a thumbs up in the chat room if you want to continue where we left off, or give me a fire sign emoji if you want to go back through the whole thing. You know, I'm going to look in the chat room and give y'all a couple of seconds to let me know, because I'm going to tell you what I'm leaning towards. Oh, okay. Hey, KT the Juice Man in here, Cal Wright in here. Hey, man, salute to that young brother right there. He's out there doing big things, man. Out there doing big things, okay? I'm looking in my chat room. Give y'all time to respond. I see some thumbs ups coming in. Okay. All right. Well, we left off. Okay, thumbs up for left off. Fire sign for the whole thing again. I'll leave it up to y'all. Okay. Give y'all a couple more seconds. We got about 30-something people in here. A lot of people probably didn't get their notification because, see, let me tell y'all something while I'm waiting on a few more thumbs up to come in here. Here's the thing. And I want any content creator or person that's thinking about becoming one to listen to what I'm saying. I don't care what size your channel is. When you start having this many problems and you within the rules of things, that lets you know that they're listening to you. I'm going to go ahead and put them on blast. Fox Sport Interactive. Oh, you really going to be mad tonight because I ain't done with you by sight yet. Oh, I'm going to get down on you tonight here. You going to hate this broadcast. You really going to hate it. And you better not try that false copyright crap tonight, because, see, you really going to get a counterclaim filed against you. So I'm working with them. See, a lot of your content creators over here in New Black Media Spaces, we battle with these jokers, man. It's a lot of things that y'all don't see that we have to deal with behind the scenes. So what I'm seeing here, okay, it looks like the thumbs ups have it. Okay, it looks like the thumbs ups have it. Okay, I see some fire sign emojis in here. Let's see. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Okay, wait. Give y'all a little bit. Give you a couple more seconds. Cause see, either way, we gonna make this burn on them tonight. Cause see, you should have left well enough alone with the broadcast. And see, let me show you how you know this was a fraudulent copyright attempt that they tried. If it was something that really violated things, the entire stream would have been taken down. Like, you wouldn't even be able to see it. As you see, part 1 is still up on the channel. That's how you know that. And everybody that was with us during that live stream yesterday, you saw the interrupted sign where it was like the stream violated policies. I'm like, okay, that was wrong. That was completely false. But, you know, I tell you what we're going to do. we're going to resume where we left off with butt dancing sambo because it looked like the thumbs ups have it. But don't worry. I'm going to finish extra cooking him because, see, the points that I was getting ready to get into where he was trying to impress Skip, oh, boy, I'm finna double down on that. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to slide on forward. We're going to slide on forward here. Tell you what we'll do. We'll start by right here with him. And then to make sure that they don't try any funny business, we're going to do it like this, ladies and gentlemen. I got something for him. So we're going to get back started a little bit before where we left off because there's some things I want to go back and reiterate on this whole conversation. Like I said, everybody that didn't catch yesterday's broadcast, you'll know my initial thoughts on this, but I have some things I'm going to add to it tonight as well. So with that being said, we're going to get back into this and finish dissecting this sambo because I'm like, look, if you don't want nobody talking about you, stop samboing. But see, before we start this, let me tell you something that y'all got to learn to pay attention to over here in New Black Media Spaces and in the mainstream media when you consume that to see what lies they're telling you. They protect their sambos. See, if I was over here praising him, oh, boy, Skip, that's right, Skip, you go, boy, everything you... Wouldn't have been no problems with that. Wouldn't have been no problems at all, man. None. But see, when you critical of them, let me tell you why they have an issue with it, whether you have a large channel or a small one. They don't want black people analyzing what the weak points in our society are in any shape, form, or fashion. You understand me? See, I've said it before. We're under the biggest social engineering experiment in this country. And see, it's a delicate balance when you're dealing with propaganda that keeps the people in a stagnant state of mind. And then it's a problem when you have people that saying, hey, wait a minute, wait, something's not right with that. You understand? So when you have agitators like us over here in New Black Media, they don't like that. That's why they stay messing with our channels, man. So, you know, I'm just letting y'all know what's going on. But see, look, we going to roll with the punches over here, man. We know how to deal with them by now. So what we're going to get into here tonight, we're going to play the audio from it, and then we're going to get into some more things here later on that are further going to break this down. And like I said, I'm going to hold the line on the stance that I had with it. I'm not going to change my opinion on it. Like I said, we're not going to sit here and act like Ja Morant is the worst person in the world. I'm not co-signing his behavior. Yes, we all agree that it was a foolish thing to do. But my problem is this. If you want to ride down on him and just give him all the media spotlight, oh, he's so bad, he did this, that, third. Okay, well, then we're going to need Brett Favre, Dana White, Chad Wheeler, all the rest of them. Come on, man. I mean, hey, we supposed to be reaching for equity, right? Isn't that what the Biden sexuals and Biden and Harris, they say they talking about we got to have equity? Well, I need equity in this media reporting, too. So with that said, fam, we're finna get back into this thing. We're finna give them some more headaches and problems tonight. Let's get started.
Not only does he not want to go back to the middle class in which he came from, he want to go back to the trenches. He want to go back to the mud. Huh? After you make 40 mil, you making 40, 50 mil a year, and you want to live that lifestyle? For what? It's all about pressing clicks and likes, Skip. Because see, Skip, sometimes when you can put something up, Skip, and you get 25,000 positive, good, Shannon, that was great, that was good. But it's that one negative, and you start to think like, well, damn, why didn't they like it? See, Ja get that one thing. When he did that, Shannon, that man just having a good time. Ain't nobody get hurt. The gun didn't let off. Ain't nobody doing that man just having a good time. He just vibing. But the NBA says in the bylaws, on premises, on an NBA business, you can't have a firearm. So all that.
So now, this is where he got to running his mouth. And I told you yesterday I was going to look into this. This fool just said, in the NBA bylaws, it says that you can't have a gun on the premises or NBA business. Okay, now, he was not near an NBA venue. He definitely wasn't in no function with no game. So, Shannon Sharp, I get that you're trying to impress your paymasters over there, you know, at Fox Interactive over there with your little homeboy Skip over there with your slave master. Because that's what he let him talk to him like. But Shannon, that didn't make any sense. Because basically what you're trying to say here is, if you're in the NBA and you're a black man, you don't have the right to have a firearm. I've already told y'all, I'm going to say it one more time for reference on this broadcast. I think the best way for him to go about that would have been to be at a gun range. But see, tonight we're going to look at some other factors that have led up to Ja Morant's second time in this type of situation. But I am not going to give people like Shannon Sharp a pass. You can get mad as you want over there, Fox Interactive. This is complete fair use over here tonight, okay? I'm not going to give them a pass when they hop on TV and run our people down like that, man. Nah, what's the point of that? Like I said again, did you reach out to them and call to contact them to try to offer some guidance? That's the proper thing to do, okay? Especially if you're an older black athlete, you know the ropes and everything. But see, that statement he just made about, you know, he like, it's basically like, okay, you can't never come nowhere near a gun if you're a black man. No. Call him out for the silly behavior, getting caught the second time around. But this is just riding down on him like nobody black that's an athlete or whatever is supposed to have a firearm. Nah, man. Those of us who are Second Amendment owners are not going to go with that. And see, let me point something else out. I think somebody said this yesterday. This is the time to see the NRA, if they really about what they say they're about, where they at. Because see, let's go here with this for a minute, since we're talking about the gun issue, right? The NRA will be smart, whoever the head of it is now, to come out and say, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity for us to get more black members. Come out in defense of this young brother. You know what I'm saying? At least with the part about saying, hey, he wasn't breaking the law with his firearm. He's got a right to have one just like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? But see, they quiet. They're not saying nothing about that. So when all these, and I'm pointing this out for a reason, because see, you have some silly black people that will be in these two-way spaces, all buddy with these white supremacists and stuff like that. And then they won't never bring up what I just stated about the NRA. Okay, where you at? If you really believe in the Second Amendment for everybody, you should be up defending this. I've never seen it. You didn't see them come out and say anything when our good brother Philando Castile was murdered and killed by that coward, man. You see what I'm saying? So like for you people over there that try to like, and see, you see this a lot too, not just in the 2A community with some silly sambos, they try to get all buddy with these white folks and think that they have this camaraderie behind guns. You see this in the gaming communities, in other words, and what I'm saying is this. If you really think them people are your friends, why aren't they advocating for things when the people who are of your community as a collective are under a grievance? You see what I'm saying? So that go to show you, when you bring up certain things that require them to produce justice for a black person that's being targeted the same way that they would one of their own people, they're not going to defend you that way. So you got to wake up and make sure that you're not being played like that, okay? You got to make sure that when you look at situations like this, the good thing about social media today, it teaches us lessons in real time in a way that we never would have had access to before, okay? The things happen in real life, but it would take a long time for it to circulate this fast. Now, when these things happen, if it's a camera or some surveillance somewhere near, everybody's going to have access to it, okay? And see, we have to make sure we learn the proper lessons from these things and make sure the young people say, okay, you see the difference between when a white person does something versus a black person? You see what I'm saying? We can't let these lessons go untaught here, because this is life or death and it's survival for them. See, in case anybody thinks I'm splitting hairs about it, let me tell you this before we get back to analyzing this Sambo and his little Count Dracula face looking homeboy over here. You have to make sure that you possess the right thinking first so you don't get caught off guard, particularly for young black people that are living today in the most integrated generation ever. See, this is one thing that black parents have to be aware of. The time period for those of us who are Gen Xers, especially the boomers, okay, it was definitely segregated during the boomers time period, but coming up in the Gen X, hey, they desegregated a lot of that. Okay, so we grew up in an integrated environment, but now it's even more so than ever. In other words, the generations after us, it's such a melting pot today as far as them interacting with different peer groups and racial groups that's all they really know. So now if you just allow your black child to go out into the world and think that there's no difference in the way they're going to be treated, you're doing them a grave disservice that could potentially cost them their lives, okay? So this is why we always point out the difference in these situations. Because again, like the three white men that I showed you earlier, Dana White, Welfare King Brett Favre, and beat him down Chad Wheeler, They're not talking about them like that. They sweep it under the rug every time, right? So, I just want Shannon, I want to see that same energy for these white athletes, man. I never see it from you, man. You and your homeboy, Stephen A. Smith, with his horseshoe crab hairline. But there's a lot more I want to point out. Let's let him get back to it because, see, these jokers right here, man, we have to watch them because at the end of the day, man, if it all went down, Gil Scott Heron said the revolution will not be televised. These are the ones that'll be helping Mouse in line. I mean, I got to go with it. Until they prove otherwise, that's my stance on it. Let's get back to it.
And what you're talking about, the Constitution, is out the window because the NBA is a private entity.
Yeah.
They get to set the guidelines of what you must abide by. So, Skip, I'm not even surprised. I'm not even disappointed. I'm not upset at Ja because I see Ja for who he is and what he is. I hope all of those that support him. Skip, I ain't throwing him away now. I'm not throwing him away. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, but you are throwing him under the bus, though, you big buck dancing Sambo, just like I said. See, and notice, that's the part yesterday that pissed him off. Oh, let me tell you something, man. See, you got to understand that the coons in society, okay, the Sambos, the people that get out there and they'll put them up there to say the things that they don't want to say as white people. They want them protected because that's their mouthpiece, okay? The Candace Owens, the Anthony Brian Logans, okay, the Brandon Tatums, Jesse Lee Petersons, all right? I mean, in either party, too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just talking about the conservatives. Your Roland Martins, your Joanne Reeds, okay? Now, we can't leave them out of the equation either because we got the coons on both sides. They want them protected, and they don't even want you to talk bad about them because, see, in order for them to continue to do the things that they do to black society, to denigrate us and sabotage us from within, they have to ingratiate these people to you. They have to present them to you in a way where when they're talking like Shannon is here, it makes you think, well, he do kind of got a point. Nah, brother, because you off code. You're sitting up there with them people talking bad about us, but they're not going to let you do that to them, and they're not going to do that with you, just like I pointed out yesterday, okay? So, see, that's why they're real hypersensitive about anything happening to their coons, man, because, see, if we get to a point as a collective where if we say, okay, you are a permanent pariah to our people if you do X, Y, Z, man, let me tell you something, boy. That would change so much in our community overnight. Just think about it. And if anybody says, well, that's not possible, yes, it is. I'm going to give credit to one community that I've said many times I respect for the way that they deal with certain off-code behavior amongst their people. Look at the Jewish community. I respect that. Let me tell you something, man. That's how you supposed to do it. When anybody amongst them, that's why you hardly ever hear about them. Their people, when they're trying to get something, they come out talking about what their people shouldn't have. The Jewish community got it right. They're like, oh, you gonna go against this? That's for the benefit of the whole group? Wait right there, got something for you. They get their little rabbis together. They go have their meetings. They're like, this person right here is invisible to us. You can't do no business. You don't get no credit. We speak bad about your name and let you know, let the children of the next generation know this is a traitor to our people. See, we got to stop that forgiving everybody. We got to, when you trying to deliberately harm black people. Because, see, let me tell you something, man. I'm going to go here with it. If any of you ever read the book, $40 Million Slaves, if you haven't, you need to go get that. I'm going to expand further upon that ideology in that book, though. Once you get to the point of a Shannon Sharp or whoever you want to name, any one of these Sambos that are well paid on TV, you're not starting out to the point where you're hungry. See, this is what pisses me off about them. You've got the bag now to the point that you should say, okay, I'm going to go start my own thing so that I can speak up in defense of my people and do things that empowers our people just like every other group. See, watch this. Name the Asian Shannon Sharp. Name the Jewish Shannon Sharp. Name the Hispanic Shannon Sharp, okay? I want you to go down the list. You sure ain't gonna see no white one, okay? We don't even need to bring it up. Name the East Indian one. Name the Arab one that'll sit up there and just go in on their people, and then he try to clean up. I ain't gonna throw him away now. Yeah, you just threw him under the bus, though. Not saying that you condone the behavior, but the way you doing this, like you performing in front of white people, that's what I have an issue with. You don't see the equivalent of any of our traitors in these other groups. You know why? Because they have that code of conduct where if you cross us like that, Don't look for no more help from your people. Let me tell you something, family. I said it before. Again, I am not co-signing the silly behavior of Ja Morant, but if they try to drop him all these endorsements like that, the statement that we need to make, and this will be bigger than Ja Morant, if you treat our people this way, we will not give you our business and our dollars. See, that's when we take our respect back as black people, because I've heard some of his endorsements are dropping them. Okay, you want to do that? Fine. You don't need no more black dollars, because, see, they tried the same thing with Kyrie Irving. What I'm saying is it's bigger than Ja Morant. So that's why I'm making that point. We're going to get back to analyzing this, because I got a lot more that I'm finna finish breaking down here, since they want to try to protect their little pet Sambozo. I'm on his head today. Let's get back to it.
We create demons. We've got to chase them away. So until Ja decides, Skip, do we got the soundbite? Skip, I'm going to before I turn over to you, Skip, I'm going to toss the soundbite. This was 2 weeks ago to the day. This is what Ja said. After the game, they lost to the Lakers, and then the exit interview. This is what Ja said. That 2 weeks ago. Skip, that 2 weeks ago.
Yep. The first bite was after they had lost.
After they lost to the Lakers. This was like 2 days later.
Yep.
So 2 weeks ago to the day, he proud of himself. He ain't in the blogs. Stop blaming the media. Skip, did you wake up yesterday morning? Did you like, man, let me Google Ja. Let me see if Ja did something crazy. Let me see if Ja did something reckless. I know I didn't Google it. I know.
See, now, this is another thing I don't like about what he just tried to pull right there. Skill, did you get on your thing to see the judge do something crazy? See, let me tell you why I despise Negroes like him. That white man damn sure did get up and check for not just Ja Morant, but any black player. And see, he don't understand. He think that him and Skill is on the same team. No, Negro. His job is to get up every day and see, okay, what the black players do. Think about it, family. If it wasn't, why is it that anytime any of these white athletes mess up, they don't get the same fervency and scrutiny from a Skip Bayless or anybody else? See, people like Shannon Sharp, and I'm saying people like, because it's not just him. It's many Shannon Sharps out there. People like him, once they get to a certain point, they figure they've made it, they think they're on the team. See, let me go way back to where this started. Let me go way back to where this started, right? This type of behavior actually goes back to the plantations. I know you say, how does that go back to the plantations? I'm going to show you. Family, if you know your history, and if you're a young person, this might be new to you over here because you never know who's listening at what time. But one of the insults that they used to do on plantations is they would take a male slave and a female slave, and they would give them names like king or queen as a mockery, because they know that this black person don't have any real power. So now you probably wonder what's the correlation in present day with Shannon Sharp. I'm going to thread the needle for you. The correlation with Shannon Sharp in present day is they will let you become an athlete and cut you $1 million check. They'll let you become a sports analyst. They'll let you get into their media rooms, okay? They'll let you sit amongst them knowing you do not have equal power. You are never on the same team as our oppressors. Just because you tolerate it does not mean you're accepted. And a lot of black people, we see it in these HBCUs. These people go get these degrees, like the Michael Eric Dysons and so on and so forth. They think they're accepted by those people or respected by them to a certain degree. When you hear them speak of my colleague, this, that, the third, I'm like, okay, your colleague is not on the same team as you. You're the only one that believes that. You understand? So see, with Shannon in his case, this is why he made that statement. Skill, did you get up and check? Yes, he did. He did. He's shown you in your face, as you've seen on this channel, many times that y'all not on the same team. See, for me as a black man, when I get up, I try to conduct myself in a way where if I'm around my people or my people see me, they can say, okay, I don't always agree with the brother, but he represents us well. All the money that you have, all the accolades that you have, all the status that you have, to me, what is that worth if you can't look at your people in the face with a clear conscience? And look, I'm going to go here with it. A lot of people ain't going to like this, but I got to do it. I don't care whether it's a black man or a black woman. When you start hopping over there and you got mayonnaise in your bed, you cannot tell me that doesn't have anything to do with these Negroes that seem to think that they're on the same side as our oppressors. Come on, man. There's no way. Because, see, Neely Fuller Jr. said it best. When you jump into the bed with the white supremacists, they don't get out confused. You're the only one that get out of bed confused. You're the only one. They know what their allegiance is to 24/7, 365, as long as they breathing and alive. They know. They know. You don't. You the only one that'll fool yourself into thinking because you're laying up with one of them that somehow this makes you accepted by them, when in reality, for black men and black women, let's go here with it, because I want to make sure we are putting this in the proper context as to why Shannon Sharpe does the things he does in front of you white folks. You got to understand that they don't accept you. If anything, they despise you because they look at it like, okay, whoever you land up with is an N-word lover. That's a traitor to our race, unless we sent her, because there's that. They will send them to these athletes to help sabotage them. But see, they don't think that far ahead when they grow up and all of their trainers and their assistants and everybody is mostly people that don't look like them, particularly in the dominant society. That tends to go to these people's heads and they start to think, okay, I'm around these white people all the time. They're treating me like I'm royalty or whatever, when they don't really care about you as a person. All they care about is your talent. I'm going to say it again. They don't really care about the Shannon Sharpes as a person. They care about your ability to make them money. That's it. You're a commodity. They're not your friends. They're not your buddies. I don't care how many parties you go to with them. I don't care what conversation you done had with them, because see, I tell you one thing, one of these days, one of these sambos is going to find out what these white people really saying about them behind closed doors when they're not around, and it'll destroy their entire world, man. They wouldn't be able to process that. Their mind wouldn't be able to handle it, because they've constructed a fantasy reality where amongst these people, you finally the accepted Negro. And then when you go back around other brothers and sisters, oh, you different. Oh, no, see, I can go over here with the white people. These are my friends. Okay, yeah. Wait till it becomes an issue where they got to choose their people over you. I'm going to tell you, not just Shannon Sharpe, but all these Sambo days is coming. The Candace Owens and all of them. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say it again. When that day come, you can't get help from me. Let's let it continue.
All I did is that when I opened up my social media page, it blew up. I'm like, what the hell y'all do now? Hell, I thought it was a rerun. I said, oh, man, he already did that. Why y'all bringing up old stuff? Shannon Sharpe, I can't wait to see what Shannon Sharpe say about this. See what I'm saying about what? There's a new video? Mm-hmm. He skipped after the man wins 8 games. Went away for 8 games, NBA, Memphis Grizzlies. He do this again 2 weeks from the day that said he's got to make better off-court decisions. Mm. He's proud of what he's become because he ain't in the blogs. Mm. Okay. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, who it's on, Skip. Mm. Take off.
You done?
I'm done.
Okay. So he's done, but I'm just getting started. See, let's look at somebody like Johnny Manziel. You remember him? Oh, I know y'all remember him, and I'm not really a big sports guy like that, but I remember the name. Look at all the issues that he had, okay? The drugs and all the other stuff. Y'all remember them doing long hit pieces on him, because, see, I clearly remember Skip Bayless himself praising Johnny Manziel this, Johnny Manziel that. You would think by just listening to Skip Bayless the way he was talking about him, for those of you that are in the sports and you remember this, what I'm talking about, you can remember him talking bad about Johnny Manziel like that. I'm going here with it, because I got to make this point sticking and make it the contrast obvious. You can't remember him running down Johnny Manziel like that. Let me ask you something, right? For those of you that really pay attention to sports, for the brothers that's in here that pay attention to sports like that, because that's not really my thing. The reason I'm talking about this is to make the point and point out the disparity and the way they try to treat black people versus white people. Let me ask you this question, right? When the Chad Wheeler incident went down, he tried to beat that sister to death, did they get on here? What did Skip say about that? Do anybody remember Skip getting on here and making Chad Wheeler the face of domestic violence in the NFL? Or do anybody remember that? Correct me, because see, I want to make sure that I know if Skip actually said something. I'll give him credit if he did. But I doubt that he said anything close to chastising Chad Wheeler for what he did, because he almost killed somebody. Hell, he said that. Look, what did he tell the woman? You still alive? Does anybody remember him doing that? Point it out to me if you did now, because I didn't see it. I don't remember him saying anything of the like. Okay? And see, oh man, Kid Gravity, boy. You wild, Kid Gravity. Kid Gravity said, Kid Gravity Beyond said, Skip want to have his and Tebow's baby. Yeah, man, he was straight kissing Tim Tebow's ass. But see, you know, I don't remember him saying that. Okay, Project Leroy said he didn't say anything. And I thought as much because, see, notice again, when the white guys do anything, the grown white adults, especially the males, their kids all of a sudden, they send them back to childhood. You would think they're talking about a toddler. Go back and look at what was that swimmer? What was the swimmer, man? He got into some type of trouble. Oh, he's a kid. He didn't mean to do this or that, the third. I mean, we see the pattern over and over and over again. So now, my question would be to Shannon Sharp. You're there. That's your profession now. You see this. How can you, as a black man that has plenty of money already, still go into this and sit up here in front of these people knowing that they throwing our people on the bus, then you co-sign them? See, I see the little manufactured pushback that he give, but to me, it don't go far enough. So now, if you know they're not going to let you do that on that network, get together with your fellow retired buddies and start a black-owned sports analyst network. See, again, before we get into Count Dracula's comments here, because that's what Skip Bayless look like, the question we have to ask, family, with the Shannon Sharp types, because it's just not him. What is it about him, whether it's brothers that are former retired NFL players, retired NBA players, retired entertainers? What is it about these people that they don't have faith in themselves, that they can't get together and make something that speaks to the best interests of black people, that serves us, controlled by us, funded by us? Think about it. I don't even think they've envisioned having a black version of an ESPN where we be like, okay, yeah, that's for the mainstream media. That's what you think. This is us over here. This is the critique of our people by us over here. Run and funded by us. Because these guys got the money to get together and do it. See, that lets you know that social engineering and that $40 million slave programming, it extends far beyond the time that they retire off of the field. Oh, yeah, that's a powerful hold on a black mind. Think about it. Anybody in this chat room, if you were a multi-millionaire, guaranteed many times over, could anybody control you like that? See, I want you to understand what I'm saying to you. Again, if anybody in this chat room was or is, because for all I know, some of you may be, I don't know. If there's any multi-millionaires, or if any of you were multi-millionaires in here, can anybody control you to the point where they just make you sit up here and embarrass yourself in front of your community, knowing that you're not really speaking the truth and you're throwing your people in the bus? Can anybody do that to y'all, man? Yeah, I see Weldon Johnson next. He said, hell to the no. You damn right. I'm right there with you, brother. Like I said, I'm not up there with Bill Gates or anybody like that, but I'm far from poor. If I had these Negroes kind of money, though, man, let me tell you, boy, they'll be trying to off me every day. Because, see, what I would like to see before we get on to Count Dracula's comments, this is what a lot of us would like to see, okay? Because we can build it on the grassroots. Don't get me wrong. We can do that. We've seen how efforts on the grassroots have we come together to build certain things that we need, okay? But for those that have more than us, they can do more faster than us. That's just common sense. So what I would like to see is a group of brothers and sisters that have that established wealth like that say, okay, let's get together, and in every area where we're in need and we're in lacking, let's start to quietly build these things. And then once we get them established, we'll make the announcement to the people and start bringing in as many young people as we can before they start sabotaging, so that we can set up something where now, even if you want to sabotage it, it's too late. We've already got it rolling. But see, you have to have faith in yourself as a community and as a people. And then you have to have the discipline to do that. And then the number one thing above all of that I just said, you have to have a belief in yourself that is not beholden to these damn white people. Okay? I just got to call it like it is. You beholden to the dominant society like that, to the point where you think that you can't do anything without them, then they got you. You may as well be on a plantation. Think about it. What's the difference? If you got that type of wealth, let's take it even further than that. Even though he's not one of our people, let's take it even further than that. What is it about people that have that established type of wealth, and then you add to it, you go and attain the presidency of the United States? You know where I'm going, even though I know he's not one of us. You get to the point of a Barack Obama, and then like the Biden sexuals, they tell you, hey, yo, you should respect Obama because he was the president, and look at that. Doesn't that give people hope? No, we don't respect Obama because what's the point of you having the highest office in the land, and then you telling us you powerless when you come to black people? Okay? What's the point of that? That's symbolism. I think that too many of the brothers and sisters that are well-to-do, they done got into situations where the dominant society has something over their head where they blackmail them, or number two, they're afraid of actually having power. You understand? See, that's the difference between a lot of the everyday average people that don't have that type of wealth. You're not afraid to have power and use it in the best interest of your people. Every other group does that, okay? Every other group brings up their young and helps them ascend to a position where they say, okay, we're going to support you. We behind you as a community. When you get here, this is what you turn around and do. Look, in every other community outside of ours, they're most wealthy. If it's something going on or it's a cause for their people, they front and center all the time. See, we got to start penalizing these people like this, man. When they come back to us, especially if they've spoken out against us, or we need to get to this point too. If you see where, for example, like Jordan Neely, we trying to get justice for this brother, and you're not going to say nothing, especially if you retired. It's one thing if you still on the contract and you trying to get your money. Okay, I get that. I'll give you that pass. I'll give you that pass. But now if you retired, you got your money already, and then you're not going to say nothing, okay, don't ask black people to support nothing else you do. We need to get to that point. But, family, I'm going to leave that right there. We're going to analyze the rest of these comments that Count Dracula, Skip Bayless, is about to make here. I want y'all to listen to the tone of his voice when he starts in here.
Okay, my turn. I have tried and tried and tried some more to love this kid because I really love him as a basketball player. Yeah. But who doesn't? Who can't? You and I went back and forth ahead of his draft. Mm-hmm. I said I liked him, but I think Zion's going to be a greater force in the league just because he's so much bigger. Mm-hmm. And I did worry a little bit about Ja's size and about his ability to shoot the three. He really struggled his first year to shoot the three. Mm-hmm. And as you say, he got in somebody's lab. I don't know what lab he got into, but he showed me a lot about his dedication and discipline in the offseason when it comes to basketball, period, end of story. Because he turned himself into the NBA's most improved player. Turned his whole game back around by making three-point shots in his second year. I was highly impressed with that. Then the incident happened. Yeah.
You mean incident or incidents with an S?
I'm about to go into that.
Okay.
Because I had swept all the previous little incidents under my little carpet or rug over on this side. I know you got one over there too. Mm-hmm. But I kept trying to say, well, it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. And then the Washington Post continued to dig into all these incidents, and they did a first-rate job of getting to the bottom of all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these incidents. And the total impact of them wasn't just eye-opening, it was frightening, because every little incident started to look bigger and bigger in the context of what happened the night after they lost at Denver, which was a huge game. It was Memphis at Denver. This is 2 seed against 1 seed. Right. What you got?
So now you heard him. And we're going to take a real close look at these incidents that they're talking about, too. We're going to give them a fair analysis in our community, because, as I said before, it's up to us to take our people to task when they're off code or they're doing silly things. But see, before I let him continue in just a few seconds, how many times have you seen Skip Bayless or any white analyst sit up here and go and add up all the things that a white athlete has done, sit there, count them, flipping the pages? I've never seen that. from time to time, I will watch ESPN or the little sports show just to see what's going on because I don't really watch the sports leagues like that. But I can't recall a time in my history where I've ever seen them sit there. Hey, Chad Wheeler, here's this incident, that incident, counting it 3, 4, 5 minutes. I've never seen it. But we got old Count Dracula Skip here, boy. He ready to count all of that. And see, I called Cap on all this stuff he talking about where he was trying to say it was okay because, see, Skip, if you really thought that way, why you not going to give Ja Morant the Dana White treatment? Dana White actually put hands on his wife. Ja Morant, silly young man that he is, didn't point the gun at nobody, didn't put his hands on nobody, not with these 2 incidents we talking about. Because we're going to get into the other silly things he did, because those things were very silly. We're going to analyze these, particularly as a teaching lesson for other black parents when it comes to how to avoid these types of things. But I just wanted to lay that out there with Skill. I want to see you go ahead and pull up the history of all these white athletes that y'all sweep under the rug, though. Let's let them continue.
Well, Denver got him good in the second half of that game. Now let's go back to said incidents, which I tried to overlook because I did like this kid. And when he speaks like that, when I see him speak like that, I say he's got it together. He understands. All right, there was the Finish Line store incident at the mall. His mom, Ja's mom, gets into it with an employee by the name of, since he went public with his name, Gavon Busby. It's Givon. I hope I'm pronouncing it the right way. Gavon Busby. He's just some kid working at the Finish Line. Right. Gets into it. She doesn't like his service. You know how that happens. And you get a little irritated. One thing leads to another. But she doesn't just call the manager. She calls her son. Right. This kid's giving me problems. I'll be there. I got you. Ja, within 15 minutes, shows up at the Finish Line at the mall with, according to Busby and the people who worked at the store, with 8 or 9 friends. I'm not talking about 2 or 3. This says 8 or 9. The kid has to lock himself in the storeroom, and Ja goes back in the back and is banging on the storeroom door saying, come out, I'm going to beat your you-know-what up. I'm going to beat your you-know-what. Okay, all right. This goes on for, the kid said, 30 or 40 minutes. And finally...
Why would your mom even call and put her son in that situation, knowing your son is an NBA All-Star? Knowing your son, who your son is, why would you even put him in that situation?
This is so outrageous. It's so over the top, over the line for what this kid said. So anyway, then Ja and his group go into the parking lot, and the head of mall security follows them into the parking lot, and they get into it, and he claims that somebody in the group, I could maybe guess which that somebody was, shoves him, pushed him in the face, and he felt so threatened because Ja said, according to the police report filed, that I'm gonna find out when you get off, and I'm gonna come back and we're gonna finish this. Right. So he files a police report saying that Ja threatened him. Okay, this is insult to injury. And the group won't leave the premises. Okay, then we got we all remember this one. This was the alleged assault of the 17-year-old basketball player from Memphis. He went public, so his name is Joshua Holloway, because now he's suing Ja. Right. And Joshua Holloway alleges that both Ja and this friend in question, Devontae Pack, punched him repeatedly in the head over a backyard basketball game. And later, Holloway alleged to police that Ja flashed a gun on him that he had in his belt as he left the property. And then Ja said he was reacting in self-defense because the kid had threatened to come back and get him. Okay, here we go again, not a great look. Then we have the volleyball game incident in which his mom is watching his sister play basketball at a local, it's called Houston High School in Memphis. And somebody says something to the sister / daughter who's playing in the volleyball game, a student up in the I think it was a female student. And
now you see this, right? He's running down every single thing that Ja Morant did. And don't get me wrong, these are very silly things that he did. Again, I must ask the question, why is it that when these white boys can see hear Skip tell it, that make you think that the white athletes, boy, they're just the perfect saints. Do you really think that a lot of these coked up, doped up white athletes don't ever get into anything outside of the leagues that they play in? See, the difference is the media covers that up, and the local authorities and everything, they sweep that under the rug. it's like a flash in the pan and you're missing unless they do something so silly and crazy that it makes national news. See, that's the thing that I have an issue with. I don't have an issue with you calling out anybody's silly behavior. What I do have an issue with is people like Skip Bayless, the refined white supremacists, like my brother AK Sour Guy sitting in the chat, trying to act as if they have a moral high ground to stand on. When they pulled that whole thing where they told the mainstream media outlets to sweep Dana White's situation on the rug, you lost all credibility and integrity to me. Because, see, if you're going to do that for one, you got to do it for the other. You see what I'm saying? That's my issue with that. But I want to let Skip get back to this, because, boy, he got a laundry list of things. And like I said, we're going to take our own look at a lot of these things here from our perspective a little bit later here. Let's let him continue.
Once again, mom calls Ja, and here he comes with his guys, and they're going to, so to speak, police this incident. There's a security guard who tries to stop them from going up into the stands to confront the teenage, the student. And one of them gets through. I could guess which one did get through, and got up into the stands and confronted and took the phone away from the student and smashed the phone. And there was a report filed, charges, no charges were pressed. But again, it's going from bad to worse. And finally, we got the Indiana Pacers incident. So then Devontae Pack, the best friend,
who's been suspended from the arena for at least a year.
This was that night in question. Okay. So he's getting into it during the game with the Pacers because he's sitting in the front row. And it gets so bad that he walks onto the court to confront one of the Pacers, and security escorts him not only off the court, but completely out of the arena, and he is banned for the rest of this year. Right. So I don't know how going forward what that will mean, but that's all I know. And then you know what happened after the game. Ja allegedly is sitting in a car driven by Devontae Pack with some others in the car. And
see, this is why I love my chat room, because, see, there's so many different incidents. And see, what this proves is that our audience over here pays attention. The brother AK Sour Guy brought up another good point here. Remember Ben Roethlisberger's situation with his sexual assault charges twice that they swept under the rug, act like it wasn't no big deal? And these were some serious charges if you go back and look at these things. Why did they not make him the face of sexual assault in NFL, okay? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they do it? My brother RG Titan brought up another good point right here in Atlanta. Danny Heatley, okay? Vehicular homicide, all right? They ain't have none of smoke for that. They barely had that in the media. See, for any of the sambos that try to act like, oh, we got the same opportunities. You're not a prince. You're not a victim. Okay, here's the problem with that. You can say that, but then when you show me situations where we're being victimized with unequal reporting in the media by race, then yes, you have victimized me. Yes, you have. It's not fair across the board. If you treated everybody the same, wouldn't hear a peep from me. Wouldn't say nothing. But see, they can never do that. They always have to make us the face of everything bad. And again, like I said, the things Ja Morant did are very foolish, very foolish. We gonna really dive into that here in a minute. But I just want you to listen how Shannon Sharpe is sitting up here with Skip Bayless in agreement. Now, flip it around. Let's say the Ben Roethlisberger thing. If Shannon was sitting up here running him down, Skip would be trying to find ways to defend it. Well, we don't really know all of this or that. They start pulling everything out the dick to try to make the situation not as bad as it was, or start spinning. And see, to be honest with you, as violent as that Chad Wheeler situation was, they should still be talking about that. What did they ever decide to do with him? I don't really remember what the outcome of that was. Did they do anything to him at all, family? I'm just saying, like I said, I don't keep up with the sports like that, but as violent as that was, and I saw the pictures and everything, I'm not going to celebrate or mock that sister or whatever. But what I'm saying, that's something where you put hands on somebody and you could have killed him. You made the statement, like, you ain't dead yet. Things like that. Well, you should still be talking about that. But see, hey, nah, that's too much like right, though. Let's let them continue.
As the Pacers are leaving on the loading dock to get into their bus, there's a red laser dot that is flickering around on all of them, like on their heads. And it is assumed those are coming from guns inside the car, according to Pacers security. The NBA investigated and said, we can't prove that, validate that. Okay, And that leads to what happened at Denver. Okay, so here's my issue with what happened at Denver, and I'll restate my case on this. Memphis is up 8 at halftime. Ja had a big first half, 19 points, had made a couple of threes, all 5 of his free throws. Then they come out in the second half, and they lose the second half 63-39. Ja has only 8 points and goes 2 of 10 from the floor. Then he goes straight to, what's it called, Shotgun Willie's.
Shotgun Willie. But only after Steven Adams calls a team meeting.
Okay.
Say, we need to be better, guys. We need to be more focused.
True. So it appeared he goes to celebrate, help me out, what? You had just lost a 2-seed versus 1-seed game at their place, and you had stunk in the second half, and you'd gotten blown off the floor, and that is cause to celebrate exactly what? I don't know, but he appeared to be celebrating, and the NBA concluded that he was intoxicated. They used that in their final report, intoxicated. So you and I went back and forth about it, and the next thing we know, both Ja's statement and a statement from the Grizzlies said he needs help and he is seeking help. And the next thing we know, there's a report that he has gone to a facility in Florida. We don't know exactly why he went to that facility, because later he said it had nothing to do with any alcohol problems that he has. So I'm not sure what it was. It was just some sort of mind adjustment, he said. And he is suspended for all of 17 total games. I'm sorry, days. He misses 8 games. 8 games in 17 days. I know a whole lot about these facilities. I'll give you an example. Tiger Woods once went to a facility in Mississippi. He was there for 42 days because most of them require
at least a month.
At least six weeks is the usual. Okay. Minimum 3 weeks, but they prefer to really get you right. They need 6 weeks. Tiger was there for 42 days, so he was there for a little over the 6 weeks.
To unlearn a behavior.
That is correct.
I've sent my dogs off several times.
Now, notice how when Skip started enlightening us on how much he knows about these different facilities that he's mentioning here, why did you immediately jump to Tiger Woods, Skip? Why you didn't give us an example of a white dude? You see what I'm saying? See, I know a lot of people think we just be nitpicking when we point these things out. No. The first person that came to your mind was a black person. You see what I'm saying? See, all these things matter, family. You have to pay attention to how these white supremacists stay on code with that. You trying to tell me no white guys was in the facilities? And see, he knows there's plenty of them in there, but you don't dare bring them up as an example or the face of it. You got to find a nigga for that all the time. I'm just saying, family. Let's let them continue.
Okay.
At least 8 weeks.
Okay, there you go. Bingo. Dogs are a lot like humans, like that.
To learn a behavior or to unlearn a behavior.
Yes. I'm not sure what they do. We thought about sending Hazel off, but it
might be a little bit too late.
It's a little rough. No, it might be a little too rough for her, but whatever.
Well, you better bring Dr. Caesar Milani, and maybe he could help. Okay,
well, that's who we were going to send him off with, and Caesar came to the house at one point, and he was rough on her, man. He gets very physical with those dogs because he said, they're dogs. You got to treat them like animals. Anyway, that's a whole nother issue. Okay, so I felt when it's announced he's back, I felt completely bamboozled. Like, we just got taken for the biggest ride ever.
Yeah.
He didn't go anywhere. I question whether he even went to Florida to the facility because he couldn't have been there more than a week.
Everybody was questioning whether did he go to a drive-through facility?
That's bingo. That's good.
Because he was there in no length of time. Skip, what you just outlined, it seemed like 4 of the 6 incidents involved a gun.
Thank you.
4 of the 6. And so now we're starting to see what in law enforcement called modus operandi. There's something, there's an underlying current here that seems to be this is his method of operation.
Okay, I got it.
Family, let me tell you something, right? And I let Shannon Sharp say that without interrupting up to this point for a reason. For those of you who are not familiar with the concept of meritorious manumission, I want you to look that up if you don't know what that is. And then I want you to look at this or listen to this rather, and then see how that's not the same thing because you're sitting here in front of this white man. Look, he just putting all the extras on it, cracking little jokes and everything. I don't see you doing that when y'all discuss the white boys. Look, I've never seen them have a whole segment on what a white person done wrong in any sports league. They'll spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes on it max, if that. 5 if you pushing it. A whole segment where you're running all the stuff down that they do. See, but I got something for that though. What I'm thinking about doing, family, but since they want to interrupt my broadcast, I just may start a series going down the history of these white athletes. I just may start a history of going down because, see, I know where to find the dirt that they do. They think they've hidden it all. If there's documentation on it, I can find it. Since they want to play that game, okay, no problem. We talking about what everybody do wrong, right? I got something for you. Oh, I got something for you. Be looking out for that in the future. We going to get that together because, see, you know, they try to act like, oh, boy, the face of everything right and good in all these sports leagues, it's got to be a white one, huh? Listen, let me go here with it. Whether you like the guy or not, whether you like how he play or not, look at LeBron James. He don't really be involved in nothing. Do they praise him for his behavior like that as a shining example of how you're supposed to act and conduct yourself as an athlete? Nope. Every time he, because so far, since he hadn't really been in anything off the court that they can find, so far it's like, okay, if you say something out of pocket, then we have to take his ass to task for his sambo behavior. But they'll get mad when he say something when LeBron try to sound like he leaning over here towards our side. That's about the most they can get on him for. But see, they don't praise any of the black athletes for setting an example of how you should be if you're a young black athlete or just a black athlete, period. They don't do that. But the minute that something wrong happened, oh boy, we got to have a whole segment on it. We got to do a thesis. We got to have a theory on it. Oh, and then by the end of that, here you go. You're going to be the face of it. Everything that happened, even though there's plenty of white players doing the same thing or worse. You see what I'm saying? Don't worry, though. I got something for that. I'm going to take an interest into sports now and start digging way on back and start pulling up some things that they don't really want to talk about. So just be expecting that in the future since they want to go here with it. Let's let them continue.
So suddenly he's back on the floor. They play at Houston, then they play Houston again at home. After his first home game, which he had a good game, but Luke Kennard had made a franchise record 10 three-point shots. So Luke Kennard is the guest of honor after the game for the local TV. So he's being interviewed on the floor. And I think we have what happened when Ja photobombed him and jumped in, and this is what he said. In and of itself, I got no problem with that. I know the song, you just referred to the song. And it felt like the NBA had protected him so much to a fault that it actually enabled his behavior to continue. Yeah. He felt empowered to refer to that line when he's supposed to be on maybe not his best behavior, but a little better behavior. Right. And again, I got no issue with the song in any other context, but it just showed me he didn't learn a thing. Yeah, really. I
don't think he did, Skip. And I don't know. Guys that I know that carry the stick, you don't know they got it until it's too late. They ain't telling you they got it.
No.
You just find out the hard way they got it.
Okay. Well, that's... Yeah, and you keep making the case, he's not about that. He wants to look like it.
Well, there was a crip from Memphis say, hey, Ja, you really about that life? Come hang with your boy on some good stuff. Hey, and see what it's really like to live.
Yeah, like that.
Think about that life, Skip. Yeah, okay. You ain't somebody running up on you, kicking in your door. Hey, come on, bro. That ain't no way to live. No. Skip, you got 50 mil. Who in the hell wants to go back to the trenches of the mud when I'm up here? Yeah. You did everything what you could to get from here to there. Yeah. And now that you're here, you know what? Hey, down there wasn't too bad. What?
That's a big what?
That's really, really hustling backwards. Normally you hustle to get somewhere. He hustling to move back.
Yeah. So
why they didn't say that about Johnny Manziel? Why they ain't saying that about him now? Look, we can talk about plenty of white athletes that was uphill, like Shannon say, with his lips, mouth, having ass, and then they fell back down to the bottom. They don't escort. Notice that when the white guys fall down, man, lose it all, mess up things, get on drugs, whatever. Notice they don't keep kicking them like that. You see what I'm saying? Or if anything, they'll find a way to spin their story into some type of redemption arc because, see, Then what they'll do, they'll get them cleaned up long enough, and then next thing you know, they'll be sitting up there with Skip and Shannon, and they'll be praising them for how they turned their life around. It's ridiculous, man. But hey, somebody's got to call it out. We'll do it over here.
You're upset about the people who defended, and you should be. I'm upset about the people who protected him. Way to a fault, because now he's even more out of control than ever to me. And now, look, if he wants nobody can stop him. If that's what he wants,
you're going to do that.
Guest.
But Skip, I got a problem. If what alleged in that incident is true, his mom got to stop putting Ja in harm's way. Well, you got to stop calling your son. Your son is not an enforcer. You do realize that your son is Ja Morant. You do realize that he's an NBA player, a very good NBA player, and you're putting him in harm's way. Because guess what? You mess around and call Ja, and guess what? One day, you're going to catch the wrong person on the right day.
That is correct.
And then I'm sorry, it's a misunderstanding. Ain't going to help nobody.
No, and your son.
Now, he's correct there. We're going to go into that in just a little bit. We're going to analyze all these different things they was talking about in just a little bit. He's correct there. Again, my issue is you're sitting up here chastising our people in front of them damn white folks or around them because, see, like I said, they don't do that with us. But I'll give them credit there. We're gonna break that down, though. It's coming.
Is going to be gone for a long time.
Yeah, might be gone. We hope that don't happen. But stop putting him in that situation.
And his father.
Hopefully, T is talking to him.
Okay. But by the way, you know the father, and you've brought up the point that the father is part and parcel of this because he's living the good life because of his son.
He's sitting courtside. He's signing autographs. He's taking pictures. Now, if I'm wrong in this, if he's had a conversation with Ja. Forgive me, Lord.
I got it.
But Skip, at some point in time when the dynamic shifted, you become a little apprehensive about telling your son what he should and shouldn't do because I like sitting courtside.
Yeah.
Where else he going to be able to take a picture with Jack Nicholls? Where else he going to be able to shake hands with a Magic Johnson or meet this guy or that guy? Well, what makes sure the golden goose stays golden?
Okay. Are you the father anymore or are you kind of like his brother?
They're the homie. That's my best friend.
Yeah.
I hate when I hear parents say, oh, that's like he my best friend or she's my best friend. No, parents and kids shouldn't be best friends. The dynamic will never change. He or she will always be your child.
Yep.
You will always be the parent.
Yep.
Parent. Friends, that's what they go to school for. They can make friends in the playground or when they go to school or when they go to camp. That's where you make friends. I ain't being my kid's friend. I'm going to be their parent. And I'm going to tell them until now when they get grown, they don't want to listen. Okay.
I'm with you.
Very well said on all fronts, gentlemen. A lot of current and former NBA players reacting to this situation on social media. Kendrick Perkins predicting Ja's not going to stop until he's out of the league, and Chandler Parsons calling for a full season suspension for Ja. We'll, of course, keep you updated on the very latest. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.
Okay, so now that we've gotten that out the way, family, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Because we're going to be fair about this thing, right? We're going to be fair about it. We're going to actually break down a couple of things from one of our Grandmaster teachers who has a much better take on this than they had, okay? If you miss our good brother, Professor Black Truth's Moment of Truth this morning speaking on this, you missed a hell of a master class on breaking this thing down the right way and how we're supposed to address our people. I'm going to play an excerpt from that, and I'm going to show you the things that I agree with that Professor Black Truth said, and further point out how we're supposed to handle our own amongst our own when they do very foolish things. Because, see, the one thing we have to make sure we do as older Black people, when we're handling things like this in-house, we have to make sure that we show our young Black people that when you ascend, you stay up. Everything in society is engineered to make sure that you never get up. So once you do get an opportunity to come up, you stay there and you build so that you can bring other people up to your level. Because, see, here's the thing. This is the mistake that a lot of Black people make, young and old alike, okay? When it comes to power, particularly economic power, We've seen this with situations like what happened to the brother Bill Cosby, O.J. Simpson. We can name several other black people. If you don't spend your time building up not only people to come up where you are so that you have attorneys, lawyers, business people, other people that have the same type of resources and power, when the folks come for you by yourself, you need to also invest in building institutions that are able to defend you when these people come after you, because they coming. Let's be clear. Even if you never become a multimillionaire, okay? I'm speaking from experience on this. You can do everything right, dot all I's, cross all T's, legitimate business owner. Once you start making money enough for them to see you as competition, get ready, they coming. Case in point, look at the turkey leg hood. Look how they doing our brothers and sisters over there. Frivolous lawsuits every time you turn around. So the point that I'm saying is we have to make sure that young black people understand that you do not take for granted any position that puts you in a position where you can become powerful, because just having the money alone is not power. Let's be clear about that. Having the money and then having the wisdom to use it in a way that insulates you from certain things, that's power. Bringing other people up and giving them opportunities to make sure that you have a team when you need it. You understand me? White supremacy is a team sport. So for these people, men and women that become wealthy in the black community, that think, okay, now I got some money, now I made it. No, you by yourself. If you don't have other wealthy black people who are on code to help you, you by yourself. All you got is money. Because see, in a system of white supremacy, your money only means so much. You see what I'm saying? See, this is why those of us like myself, we don't sit around bragging about things we have. We could. But see, when you're in your right frame of mind, you understand how little power that is when you don't have a team around you. You know, it's worthless. And then even worse than you not having anybody black on your level, what about the black people that are on your level, but they tend to side with them white folks every time they say boo about something and you just merely accuse? Nothing proven, just accuse. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to get into the statements that our good brother, Professor Black Truth, made here about analyzing some of his silly behavior and all the different incidents. And I want y'all to listen to what the good brother said if you missed that moment of truth. We're going to play this excerpt here. Let's let the good professor teach us.
He keeps on getting himself into these situations. July of last year, Morant's mother went to a finish line in a mall in Memphis. Apparently, she was upset about the service or something. Now, typically when this happens, you ask to speak to a manager. But Morant's mother decided to call him instead. She didn't call her husband. She called her son. Ja Morant shows up, but he doesn't come alone. He brings, I guess you'd call it, his entourage with him. The cashier goes and hides in a back room for nearly an hour, and Ja Morant apparently is standing outside the door banging naked threats during all this time. A world-famous basketball player, and this is what he does. But apparently that wasn't enough for him, because as Morant and his boys were leaving the mall, the director of mall security was escorting them out, but according to the security director, they refused to leave the parking lot. This escalated into yelling. Some threats were thrown in an altercation in which one of Morant's boys pushed the director in the face, allegedly. No arrests were made, and according to the Washington Post, when they called the Memphis police to ask about it, Memphis PD said there was no report. The Washington Post had to go to the cashier to get the report, and according to the Post, Morant wasn't listed as a suspect, and his mother's name was listed as unknown. Well, I guess he must have been having a bad week, because just 4 days later, Morant was having...
So now let's pause it right here, right? Now, with that first incident that we're reviewing right here, that the professor was speaking on, and that Skip mentioned as well. Here's the thing. When you have parents that don't have good common sense, first of all, we've seen other situations like this before with people that are nowhere near as wealthy as Ja Morant, okay? These women that sit up here and raise son husbands, and then you think that you're supposed to just call your son just because you have verbal disagreements with somebody, you save that for somebody trying to physically threaten you. Because see, I got to see it now, because Skip didn't mean anything, didn't care about this man when he was making a statement. I'm going to make it because I care about all of our people. Family, and this is something that black men better damn sure make sure that you get straight as head of your household, particularly to the women in the family. whether it's your wife, your daughters, your nieces, whatever the case may be, female cousins, you look at your male protectors as nuclear deterrents. Now, the thing about a nuclear deterrent, you don't just hit the damn button on a nuclear deterrent. That's a last resort, okay? So you need to make sure that the women in the family understand that, hey, I'm going to defend you if you need defending and protect you. That's my job, but don't just do that in a situation where you the instigator in something. No, that's wrong, because unfortunately, you have a lot of women that look at it that way. How many times have we heard in the community family, all right, man, I'm going to call my brother. He crazy. My boyfriend crazy. Don't make me call. Like, yeah, you think they're the only crazy people out here in the world? And then you put them in a situation that you instigated, and next thing you know, your relative is dead or in prison. You see what I'm saying? In other words, there's nothing wrong with defending our people. You're supposed to do that. But as his mother, you should have better sense than, okay, because you got into a verbal disagreement with somebody, you finna call your son to come around there. How about you exercise this and act your age and simply leave the damn place? It ain't nowhere you got to be. Your son, who you carried for 9 months and brought into the world, has now made something out of himself, not only to the point where you should be proud of him and not want to jeopardize that, but he can now take care of generations in the family. You see what I'm saying? See, this is the part right here, like the good brother Torian Rain was saying. I feel like not only as like before they become famous in any industry, I agree with this statement brother Torian Rain or Reloaded made here. They should have to be taught a master class on racism and white supremacy, and also how to manage yourself as a business person. Because see, when you become a multimillionaire in any like professional sports league, you transition into the business arena now. Now you're in a position where not only are you playing or whatever sport or whatever type of entertainment you're in to get major dollars, you now have endorsement deals coming in, okay? And if you're really smart, what you're doing to get that money now, you should really look at it as, okay, I'm not going to do this forever. There's going to come a time where either I retire or, heaven forbid, you may get hurt. So you should be setting yourself up to branch out into other avenues of business and networking. So you can say, okay, if all of this go left tomorrow with this, I'm already plugged in over here and I'm building my own. So that way, once you set yourself up as the person that's in charge and you're running things, nobody can fire you from a job that you create. You understand? See, I think what happens oftentimes in situations like this, if there's nobody in the family that's accustomed to handling that type of wealth or that type of status or what have you, there's no proper guidance there. Now, let's be clear. Professor Black Truth is going to really make some things 100% crystal clear about Ja Morant being responsible as a 23-year-old young man and a father, that he's responsible for his own behavior and his decisions. He is. By the time you get that age, as a 23-year-old, of course, you don't know everything that someone 33 or 43 would know, but you know basic common sense. And you must also, even if you're a young person, you must learn from the mistakes that you make and say, okay, hey, you know what? I did this, I did that. This was the outcome last time. Let me make sure that I don't repeat this. Okay. You got to do that. That's the first hallmark and sign of an intelligent human being. Okay. So while I don't agree with Sambo sitting there running him down in front of, the white media, and I damn sure don't agree with the white supremacists trying to make it like he's the worst thing in the world, when it comes over here to this part where we, the black community, take our people to task, these are the things that we speak to our people out of love, especially young people, because I've said it many times to people online and offline. The young black people are the future. If we chastise you, we're chastising you because we don't want you to throw away the opportunity that you have to become something for generations, okay? See, it's not about us. We're not the future. The elders are not the future. We can guide you along the way, okay? But we're not the ones that's going to be running things. We want y'all to do well with the opportunities that you have, especially the opportunities that people before you didn't really have access to. So I think that's something else that, needs to be expounded upon and taught to young people that, hey, man, you're in a time period now where it's unique. You can instantly, if you have a talent, become a multimillionaire or what have you today. But If you throw it all away with silly behavior and not being able to change your environment or recognize when you're supposed to cut certain people off that are a detriment to you, then you're throwing it all away for nothing. So let's let the professor continue analyzing this, because he's going to run through all these different incidents right here. And some of these y'all might not have known about, okay, if you're not a sports person, but you're about to learn tonight. Let's let the professor continue.
Having a pickup game at his house, and he got into an altercation with a 17-year-old. The teenager also claimed that Morant flashed a gun at him as he left the property. Morant claimed it was self-defense. And then 2 months after that, Ja Morant's sister was competing in a volleyball game at her high school. Ja Morant wasn't there, but after his sister got into an argument with another student, Ja Morant came up to the school in the middle of that game, and he brought his mother, his father, his entourage of dudes, and even his baby daughter, according to the police report. Apparently, police were on the scene now, but one of Morant's boys decided to slip past them and run up into the stands and allegedly slapped a cell phone out of a student's hand and threatened them. Fortunately, no charges were filed in that incident either. Talk about dodging bullet after bullet. Clearly, the Memphis police are trying to cut this guy a break. But there's no cure for stupid, because if 2022 was a very busy year for Morant misbehaving, in 2023 he's been going for a personal best. January of this year, Ja's team was playing against the Indiana Pacers. During the game, one of his boys decided to get into an argument with one of the Pacers players. That individual had to be escorted out of the arena. After the game, the Pacers players said that they saw a car with Ja Morant and some of his pals in it, and that someone in the car pointed a red laser at them, which they thought was probably from a gun. March 4th, the Grizzlies lost yet another game, this time to the Denver Nuggets. So what did Ja Morant do after this latest defeat? Did he go to the facility so he can sharpen his skills, work on his fadeaway jumper? No, instead, he headed to the nearest strip club and began making it rain. Because, hey, after you lose a game, that's a perfect time to celebrate, right? You want to know why so many of your favorite ball players don't seem to mind losing games all the time? It's because they don't. This was the infamous incident where he went on Instagram Live and with a huge grin began brandishing a gun in front of the camera. He was suspended for 8 games without pay. Now, that was the last we heard of him before this week. He made a mea culpa after that last incident, but as I said in my video about this shameful string of incidents that he keeps getting himself into, this guy is on self-destruct. How many times?
So now let's pause it right here, right? The professor brought up a great point, and I'm going to break a couple of things down about the right way to teach young people how to manage these types of resources, okay, on the level of a Ja Morant. This goes for anybody across the board, but especially when you get to that level. First things first, whatever it is that's your craft, if you're doing poorly at that, the last thing you need to be doing is celebrating. See, one of the reasons why Michael Jordan was so great, if they ever took a loss, that man was on it. I'm talking about, man, I know a lot of y'all have met him offline. He can be a butthole. Yes, that's very true. But we're just talking about his talent and his work ethic. The man was obsessed with his craft, especially if he wasn't doing well. And hell, even the times when they were winning or what have you, he stayed on top because he was steady refining that. In other words, he didn't have time to be out there getting into a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So I think that the young brothers like Ja Morant, if they really want to attain that level of greatness and be remembered for their craft other than these silly things offline that could possibly ruin their entire future, they need to study those before them. Because look, let's be clear, Jordan has some habits. Everybody knows they say he liked to gamble. And, you didn't really even find out Jordan was a smoker until, he retired that first time. They heard a lot about Michael Jordan because he was so valuable to the Chicago Bulls franchise at the time. But see, the thing is, those little minor things that he had going on, hey, they're like, all right, yeah, we can cover this up. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where, like, you're doing something like the brother Ja Morant here is, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is this. And see, this is something that we see today because it's a part of the culture. It's one thing if it's one of these older Negroes that's got expendable cash to waste like that. But when you're a young man and you just not getting it, the last thing you need to be doing is making it rain at no damn strip club. You wasting money, man. You really are. I know a lot of people, man, don't be hating on the strippers. Hey, I'm not hating on the strippers. Hey, I'm not hating on the strippers. Let them get their money. But what I'm saying is for brothers like Ja Morant on that level, if you went and let's just say 10, 15 bands, you are there making it rain in the strip club. That's 10 or 15 grand that you could take and say, okay, these homeboys that you like to kick it with, you want to make sure that you protected. You want to show people you ain't nothing to be played with. All right. Take that 15 grand that you wasted in that strip club. Hey, man, y'all come here. Check this out. You've been hanging with me all this time. I done took you on these trips, okay? I done looked out for you, this, that. Now it's time. I need you to do me a favor. I'm finna put you in executive security school. You gonna get certified, and y'all gonna be my personal security. You see what I'm saying? See, there's where you investing in yourself. Cause I'm like this. Let's go here with it. Yeah, I said it on the last broadcast. You know he's had those guys. He's taking them on trips. He done probably bought them stuff and all that. I'm like, okay, yeah, you've been rolling with me. Now it's time to put in some work. Come on over here and get this certified security certification so that you can be my personal security. Let me give you a job. That way you ain't just around me, you earning your keep. Now, if they ain't with that should let you know something. You see what I'm saying? That's the second thing. The third thing is this. When you got that many people around you, and I said this before in the last broadcast, I got to bring it back up. When you got that many people around you and you don't have at least 2 or 3 people that pull you to the side, hey, man, I don't think you even need to be over here with us. You know what I'm saying? Somebody need to tell you like, all right, man, look, you made it, bro. We still out here trying to figure it out, bro. Don't know. We need you to stay over here and get to the bag, man, so that you can create opportunities for everybody else. If it ain't at least a handful of people in your crew telling you that, you got the wrong crew, man. You got the wrong crew. So those are a couple of things I wanted to point out with what Professor Black Truth just brought up there. He's about to get into some more of these different things here too. And like I said, if y'all missed the entire moment of truth, go back and check that out because this is just a small excerpt from it. Let's let the professor continue teaching.
Times do these incidents have to happen before someone asks what the common denominator in all of these incidents is? Now, I also noticed a couple of other details about these incidents too. First of all, haven't you noticed that Ja Morant seems to really get into fights with teenagers? What is it about children that this guy likes to have fights with teenagers over? He keeps doing that over and over again. And there's also...
Now, I got to interject right here because, see, that right there is a problem. That is a problem. Ja Morant is 23 years old from what I understand. If you have a repeated pattern, like we seeing you getting into it with teenagers, first of all, let me tell you something, man. I love young people. I love my people. I do. But I ain't finna be hanging around no kids like that, man. For what? If they're not related to me, okay? If I'm not there to teach them something, all right? You ain't got no business kicking it with no teenagers, bro. Like, what are you even doing around kids? No, if anything, man, look. I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to say I'm perfect because I'm far from that. But I do have the respect of my community, especially around young people, because they know when they see me, I'm offering you something positive, okay? They ask me questions on how to do this or that, and I'll give the advice to them, okay? You want to carry yourself in a way where when the teenagers or whatever do see you, they look up to you and they have respect for you. But see, they're not going to respect you if you're carrying yourself like one of their peers. You understand? Think about that. He's a 23-year-old grown man, and you putting yourself in situations where there's a bunch of teenagers around you. They're going to think, okay, he's just like one of us. At least in the mind you are. That's a terrible thing for a grown black man to have the mind of a teenager. You can't do that, especially since he's a father too. I didn't know he was a father until I did a little bit more research. Professor Black Truth is going to go into that. And, a lot of people saying that the woman is white, but I don't think she is. She looks Hispanic or something like that. To me, KK Dixon is his baby mama name, but that's probably going to be a whole nother set of problems. He better try to hold on to that bag. I mean, you didn't marry her, so, yeah, that's a whole nother broadcast to go into. But see, my thing is this. The issue with you hanging around the teenagers, man, again, your father, man, if he's trying to be your dad instead of your damn friend and just looking at you as a cash cow, he would check you like, hey, son, whoa, what you doing? You a grown man. You ain't got nothing to come with no teenagers, do you? And if you do, that says a lot about how you failed to raise him as a father. Oh, I got to go there with it. But hey, we're gonna let the professor get back to it here because he's going to point a couple more things out here.
Something else that I noticed, probably closely related to the first. Ja Morant's mother seems to be involved in a couple of these incidents too. And Ja Morant's father seems to also be, if nothing else, a passive bystander while all this is going on. I mean, you got a father who ain't being head of household here. We have a terrible practice in our community where we got too many times you got single mothers who treat their sons like boyfriends, or, and this is just as bad, you have fathers who don't function very well as fathers because they do not lead their household. In Ja's case, he seems to have the worst of both worlds. He's worth millions of dollars, though a lot less since he started doing all this stupid stuff. Even if his mother keeps dragging him into mess and his father has no interest in stopping him, isn't Ja Morant supposed to have enough sense and enough strength of character to not put himself in these situations in the first place?
Professor Black Truth is absolutely right. He's supposed to have enough common sense not to put himself in these situations in the first place as a young black person. Because, see, family, you got to understand something. Like Torin Rain was saying, if you don't teach these kids about how racism and white supremacy works and let them understand that, okay, you're fortunate to get here, they don't want you here, don't give them any ammunition to use against you, because see, hey, they finna be left and right. Oh, he shouldn't have this. And see, the worst thing in the world, you got other black dudes suggesting punishments for him. I don't hear those same people suggesting punishments for none of these white folks that we mentioned here tonight that are so-called athletes or in athletic organizations like a Dana White. Why you not suggesting punishments for them? Sadly, a lot of them came out and defended Dana White. That's one I saw for certain. They came out and they defended him. So, family, like I said, I had to bring you the rest of this. They didn't like it, but what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put this part 2. I'm gonna link it to part 1. We're gonna put the whole thing on Rumble where you can see it without any interruptions or breaks. And just know, family, that these types of things have to be used as a teaching tool so that we can prevent these things in the future and make sure that our young black people understand that they don't waste the opportunities that they have to empower themselves and other people. Okay, so if you haven't discussed this situation with your children, you need to sit down and do so, because no matter which way it goes for Ja Morant, you got to make sure that your young black son or daughter don't become the next Ja Morant and possibly throw away their opportunities if that's where it goes with that young brother. So salute to everybody that joined us over here tonight. I appreciate your time over here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you came over here to join your brother because you knew anytime they interrupt me, I'm going to come back on this platform on Rumble and finish the business at hand. So with that said, be wise, be smart, salute Black first, and I will see you all in future content.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tariq Nasheed, and I'm inviting you to the Foundational Black American Expo going down May 27th, 2023, right here in the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas. This is an event you don't want to miss. It's going down at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, and this is an empowerment event that you can invite the whole family to. We're going to have seminars and workshops that discuss things like business development, education, health and wellness, self-defense, and some of you businesses out there, we have vending opportunities where you can promote your businesses. Plus, we're gonna have so many phenomenal speakers and guests. We got people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, who's coming down, Professor James Small, Sister Vicky Dillard, Riza Islam, Dr. Kaba Kamene, Ben X, Jahudi Mayad Ra, Erica Lachey, Red Pill, Blue Pill, so many people. So yo, get your tickets now at FBAExpo.com. That's FBAExpo.com. We will see you here.